Dude, the opener is always so weird.
Is this actually like a smart person?
Do you just like the other idiots that you're in the room with?
I pulled my neck. Well, yeah, you are like excitable.
Put that on my LinkedIn profile. Excitable guy.
Oh, and I got sued today.
I'm a sadistic motherfucker. And
I know,
it's like you have no idea.
I will spend whatever it fucking costs.
We find them after they've already died.
Yeah, this is fraud.
They're watching. Give them something. Give them a show.
Fuck that. We're gonna get it done.
How was your week? You just had to fire someone?
Yeah, like 30 minutes ago.
Fresh off the...
Yeah, fresh off. I mean, I wasn't on the chopping block, but yeah, no, it's actually like my first time. I think it was my first time firing someone face to face in person. Like I've done it over Zoom calls, like for like remote people or during COVID kind of stuff. I've done, firing someone at the end of a contract where you're just like, yeah, the contract's not going to renew. This is the first time it was like, yeah, like you have to do like the weird meeting that has no agenda, and then come up and you just got to be like, dude, the opener is always so weird.
Yeah. It's like a breakup.
It's like dude, breakups are easier, I think. Like, cause you could like start it off by like saying some stuff but this, I don't know. I think the best way to like approach it is like to get to the point as soon as possible, which I actually don't think that's like the best way to go about a breakup always. But yeah, it went on longer than I thought. There's like a lot of try to like post negotiation, which like obviously is like, I know, once you've made a decision, but yeah. So anyway, this prompted like us to be, I was like texting you and we're like, oh, we should like, maybe like this should be like a nice prompt for hiring and firing and like stuff that we've like learned. I think the biggest one that like in this process and even just like past processes is like, especially with a startup, I think so early if someone's going to work out or not. And then you like disguise knowing that they're not going to work out as like, oh, they need time to onboard. They whatever. But the truth of it is like every good person, you knew almost immediately within like the first week or two. Mm-hmm. And so like if the increased level of conviction does not exist within the first week or two, I think anything else you're telling yourself is a lie.
Right. Yeah. At that point, it's almost like too late though. Like, it's like, how do you screen for that before actually hiring someone that like, what happened on day one? Was it like you went for lunch and realized, oh, maybe you should start like going for lunch with people before you hire them?
Well, I mean, I think every person that I have, what's funny is we also did an interview today for someone as well, completely different role, like partnerships and stuff. And I look back at like all the hires that I made that were correct, and they all had like really great dating periods to them. And so like one of the things that I'm thinking too is like to always be hiring as well, because I think I've adopted this strategy, which I think is correct, which is like right now just like only hiring out of pain rather than opportunity, because like pain is super certain, opportunity is like pretty fickle, and just like floating around. And so, but then when you only hire out of pain, you want to like service that pain as like quick as possible. Right. But if you're kind of like always, meeting with people, 1, 2, 3 times, maybe there's not even like an open position when it actually comes time to like hire people and stuff like that. Yeah, you've already at least like built a bit of a pipeline, people. Like for example, my head of operations, like we met probably like 6 times before there was ever like a legitimate talk about what moving forward would look like.
Yeah, I feel like, so when I started I feel like for me, like this company has been almost like the start of my career, like especially from a management perspective, it definitely is. And so like I didn't look up like, oh, like best interview questions or anything like that. I just like tried to go at it my own way. And like my thinking was kind of just defaulted into like, there's nothing I can really figure out in the interview. So like, I'm just going to like really look at their resume and like ask some questions and like go based on the resume.
Oh, really? We're complete opposites then.
Really?
Dude, I'd never look at resumes.
Really?
Like we're hiring interns right now, and we got like all these resumes from like the schools. Like my head of operations like read them all. And he's like asking questions about their resume. I haven't like looked at like, one of them. Like
Interesting.
I'd never look at the resume.
I mean, to be fair, I'm now done with I'm not done with resumes, but I'm done with, like, I've over indexed resumes for sure. And like now it's very much more about like, okay, first of all, like, do I even want to work with this person? And like the biggest litmus test I've found that's good is like, am I going to dread getting on a call with this person, or do I kind of feel like excited for the next interview because he might like bring up some interesting things?
I think the one frame of mind I heard once that's kind of like that I like is like, if you got stuck in an airport with this person, would it make that experience better or worse? You know, because like getting stuck in an airport alone, it's like baseline.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone's gonna be there and make it worse, like fuck, you probably shouldn't work with this person.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. I'm gonna keep that.
But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think your lifetime of Wiz? So whatever, 4 years. What do you think your hit rate is on people that are not still here, but let's call it had to be fired. Like maybe they left, whatever. That is still a success, but had to fire.
So I think my success rate in hiring is at most maybe 30%.
Okay.
Like at most. Like,
I'm at 50 right now.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, like, and I think we're both like pretty like, I've seen people at certain companies and like they're not up to like a certain standard. So I think we both have like higher standards for who would like remain on our teams. But like, regardless, yeah.
They're also just like both small teams, and so
it's very noticeable.
Yeah, everything is super, super noticeable.
But some people still don't care. Like they'll have a smaller team and they're like, they just are so focused on growth that like I was talking to a guy who works at like a big AI company, and he was saying that they've never fired anyone and they have like tons of shit people. It's just like their investors are like, you need more people. So they're like scared of their headcount going down and like people getting mad at them. So like,
wow, what a fucking flipped incentive that is. Like, like that is such a horrible state to be in.
Yeah.
It's like you're making fiscally irresponsible decisions, you're making product like irresponsible decisions, you're making culture irresponsible decisions. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I do think that it's just like, if you want to work with, at the end of the day, like most startups are a bunch of idiots in a room, including myself, trying to figure something out. And so the most important thing is like, do you just like the other idiots that you're in the room with? You know, like we don't know what we're doing. Like if you're joining a startup, you inherently don't know what you're doing. Like you might have some topical knowledge, but the way to actually go, like there's no playbook for any of this stuff. So I really just think like everybody on the team should feel enough I don't know, positive emotion towards everybody else that they want to help them with anything that they're doing, and like vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that if you optimize for that, then everything else is just problem solving and you're enjoying it along.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I got from that book we talked about like a few weeks ago, How to Make a Few $1 billion on Hiring, was like, he talked about the importance of just like actually just like IQ, which is probably something I didn't like even like think about before. So we started asking like some of like the brain teaser questions, whatever, like just to figure out like, is this actually like a smart person? Because I feel like that's kind of like baseline. Like, okay, do I want to work with this person? And like, would we work well together? Okay, check. Is this person smart? Because someone's smart, like they will figure things out on their own. And like friend that I hired that's doing sales is doing a great job. Like never worked in sales before. But she's just able to like, she's just like generally pretty smart. So like, yeah, I think like that's a hard one to like quantify, but I think you can ask about that. The other thing I think is huge is seeing examples of people's past work, which is like easy for certain. Like if you were hiring a designer, you wouldn't not look at their like past design. So like if you're hiring a content marketer, like you need to see their blog posts. And obviously for some people it's harder, but like even for sales, it could be like, show me like your best performing cold email that you wrote yourself. Like, and you can get a sense of like the way people talk about things. Like, did they actually write this, or was this like their team's thing? And if they're just like, oh, I usually just use like the templates I got from whatever, it's like, yeah, you're probably not a fit for like a small team.
Right. Yeah. Your baseline. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else like I kind of just learn. It actually I think is like a lot simpler than like it's I think it's all like emotional like intelligence with like the hiring thing. Like I don't think that there's like the perfect interview questions. I think you just want to try to get to understand who this person is. Like you want to like break through whatever facade that they're like showing up with like as soon as possible. One thing I do completely wrong, and I'm like, I need to fix this, is that like I get very excited when I like find someone that I think will work.
Yeah.
And I start to build essentially like almost like movie characters of attributes about them and like what they're going to work on. Like I like future, be like, I like visualize like, oh, they're going to do this and then they're going to do that.
Yeah.
But like I have no arm in actually making any of that stuff happen. And so I like start to like create these like narratives in my head of like, oh, because they're like this, they're going to be really good at that. And then and I'm just like, I'm starting to like connect the dots as if I'm some sort of fucking genius. But like, it's all literally just like made up in my head and like trying to, I don't know, be optimistic, I guess.
Well, yeah, you are like excitable.
Excitable?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Excitable means like, I hope that's a thing. I think it means, I think it means like you're easily excited about things.
Responding rather too readily to something new or stimulating. Yeah, that's me.
You're an excitable guy.
I'm an excitable guy. All right. I'm gonna put that on my LinkedIn profile. Excitable guy.
Excitable Zach.
Yeah. No, anyway, so that's something I have to figure out is, and I think too, it's like almost like I visualize like the best in people. Like they might have like a negative quality that I can like spin to be like, oh, because they're super aggressive, that you know what I'm saying? But like that doesn't mean that it plays out in the way that I hope it's gonna play out.
Yeah.
So I think I need to do less of that. Maybe I don't know. 50% I'm beating you, so.
If I look, yeah. I mean, I probably shouldn't be giving out any tips at that percent. No, but if I look at like, at the end of the day with hiring, like the big hits really like the mistakes don't matter that much. Like when you find certain people that like with Ryan, for example, if I never found him, like, and those big successes were always from seeing something that they did. Like I remember with Ryan, I saw he built this app called like Gainful that like I was like, okay, I want to work with this guy like no matter what. And like having an eye for like what good is amongst those. With like our VP of marketing, it was, I saw literally just like a LinkedIn post that he wrote that was like long form, whatever. And I was like, this is just like the right, I can't really like, I don't know what exactly I like about it, but this is like what I like.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to do more of that, of just like, I need to see past things that you've done. Yeah.
No, I think that's, I mean, similar with like this like, new developer we hired for like the scraping stuff. It's like, he's literally so good. It's like, you know, and it's just like, that's, you know, I could fire and hire like 10 people and like finding him is still, you know, like worth it. But I do think the thing I'm getting better at is just firing super quick. Like, cause it's so much work to hire someone. You like make this commitment, you introduce them to, it's like introducing a new spouse to your family or like new, you know, like it's all this work. And then you could be like, fuck, like I gotta like reverse all of this stuff that I've done. And it essentially, it like eliminates all of this work. So like, you're definitely just like, kind of like, you know, giving up on a bunch of stored energy that you've.
Yeah. I feel like for the part of like what I like working, did you interview or you met in person before?
This person that I fired?
Yeah.
We met at an networking event.
All right. Well, then I guess this wouldn't really apply. But I've had times where I've done like multiple Zoom interviews and then we met in person. I'm like, oh, this person's like pretty different than what was in my head, I guess, like from Zoom. So I feel like once it's like in the later stages, like you have to like meet in person.
I think like I'm just gonna meet in person. Like if the person's gonna be working in office, the first interview is gonna be in person. Like, yeah, I don't know. Or like with this intern thing that we're doing, now we're at this like stage where we've got like 2 people we're thinking about. That's like the baseline, and like you get on a new interview call now, you know within 2 seconds whether that person's better than that person or not. And so I'm like, fuck, like this is a waste of my time. Now I'm gonna be on this call for like 20 minutes.
Right.
It's like that's app we were like thinking about buying. Remember like the video. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is like for anything that is like high volume in the application, I'm gonna like submit a Loom video. Because also if someone's not, there's a lot of people that are not willing to submit a Loom video for an application. I also like don't want those people. So that's like a nice filter. But yeah, that's hiring from a bunch of people that are bad at hiring. So do everything that we just said not to do, or do the opposite of everything that we said. What else you got? What did you do this week?
We got a lot of stuff done this week. Well, I pulled my neck. So it's been rough working. Like,
wow, tilted. Dude, it is rough.
Yeah, I had to put my monitor on like an angle.
You need the Vision Pro, dude. Just lay down.
I know. This would have been the time for it. No, what did I get done this week? We had some pretty like exciting like product stuff or some changes on our directory, and we increased like our phone number coverage a lot. We honestly have a bunch of stuff. We're gonna hit a record month this month. And yeah, we just have a bunch of stuff like that's starting to pick up steam, Facebook ads. Oh, we got frauded. Very smart fraudster.
You got frauded?
Yeah, so someone stole our credit card.
Okay.
Oh, and I got sued today. So
yeah.
I got a lot of stuff going on. So first the fraud, then the sue. So someone stole our credit card and presumably waited until we started running Facebook ads. Maybe they put us in Spider.
Wow.
And as soon as we started running Facebook ads, they started running their like fraud Facebook ads, whatever. And so I saw all these charges I didn't realize, but I remember seeing, because we have Brex and then we have an Amex. And I remember seeing in Brex like Facebook ad charge. You know when you create a new Facebook ads account, the billing threshold is so low and it slowly goes up.
Charging.
So it's like $1, $5, $10, $20. I'm like, why are there all these tiny charges on our account that's been there for years? But I was like, whatever, like maybe we have all these different like campaigns, like maybe it's billing separately. I don't know, whatever. So I didn't think anything of it. And then I don't look at like the Amex charges usually until like the end of the month. And then like the only reason I caught this is because I was like, I prefer the Amex points to the Brex points. And I was like, why is this on Brex anyway? Like I want the points on Amex. So I go to Harris and I'm like, can we switch this to the Amex? And he's like, yeah, sure. We go in and we're like,
it's already on Amex.
It is the Amex. They don't even have this Brex card anywhere. And we're like looking, and we call Facebook and they're like, I guess they like look based on the descriptor and they're like, yeah, this is fraud. It must be like some like porn ads or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all of the fucking people that use our app.
Yeah. Saving them and spidering us.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where they stole that.
I went down the rabbit hole of like optimizing points again. So like, anyway, I've always like booked flights, like whatever the cheapest flight is, and like hopped around, a bit of like an airline whore. But I was like this, and then whatever, the flight back from like Vegas was the first time flying lay down, and I was like, I want to do this forever, but I'm not gonna spend $20,000 fucking on a fucking flight. And so I was like, okay, I need to like figure out the points thing. I used to fucking obsess about it.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped, but now I'm obsessing about it again. And like, it's actually kind of a fun game to play. But yeah, do you have status with Air Canada? Cause you fly a lot.
I mostly use points. So no,
you get status. It's miles
for redeeming your miles.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes. You still get the points. But maybe you only get the points if you've already reached status or something. There's some, dude. You actually have to like read through everything.
Because I don't know, but no, I don't.
Okay. And that's my goal. I want to get the top level flight status this year.
Yeah,
so I'm like trying to optimize it.
We have to book a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the points.
Okay, but you're getting sued. You sent me a screenshot today.
Can't comment on the open case. No, it's just in small claims court, so it's fine.
Do you have to go to San Diego?
No, I think I can join by Zoom.
Okay.
But what's interesting with small claims court is a lawyer can't represent you. Yeah, you either of us, because the small claims court's meant to be more just like,
dude, can you just
like friendly like playground thing?
Can you just like, I think there should be a thing with small claims court where you can drop a gauntlet and just like challenge people to a wrestling match.
Oh,
I think
I would win.
I honestly think that would be a better society, because it'd just be like, like if you're not willing to like wrestle for it, like what are you actually doing here? Like
I agree. Or just an arm wrestle. No, I think I'd beat him pretty good in a
yeah. No, fuck that guy.
But yeah, like
I'm curious about this because like this has been like you and this person back and forth for like, I don't know, a year.
Yeah, at least
maybe
2
more.
years.
And like, there's been all these like little things on LinkedIn, all this little drama, all this kind of shit. I want to know what triggered him to be like, because it's not that much money.
Yeah,
it's like less than 10 grand. No. Yeah. So it's like, I want to know what the thing was, because like he had a bunch of opportunity to like do it earlier. I want to know what the reason was. Like, there's got to be something he saw where he's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he kept following up, and then there was one point, maybe 3 months ago, where we posted something on LinkedIn or something, and he commented like, it was something, I think it was like a celebratory, like, oh, we hit like 250,000 users or something like that. And I think he commented something like, oh, great. Are you going to like pay me for like this thing? Oh, no, it was the thing that you made the reply
I made the reply.
What did you?
I think so. I thought it was the coffee machine that he commented on.
Yes. Okay. So there was a coffee cup LinkedIn post where it was just like a Wizza logo in the foam of a coffee.
Yeah.
And I posted that and he was like, great to see you guys are doing well or something sarcastic. Like, what was it? I remember your reply.
What was my reply?
Your reply was his little like subline is like, we create content that isn't boring AF.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or you comment like, why didn't you pay me whatever? And your
and I said,
reply
why
like,
didn't you create content?
No, you said the content was boring
AF.
well.
Yeah.
And then he just deleted his comment.
Yeah, absolutely get roasted.
And then he sued me.
So, but that's like months later, dude.
Yeah, well, I guess it takes some time. You submit like a demand letter or something first. So we got that. And then we talked to a lawyer and they were like, you have to just wait and see now if they're going to take it further. But now we're going to countersue for damages, which there are plentiful. In like a real court with actual lawyers. So
nice.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like I had like a guy that was like trying to sue me. Remember like that like scam artist?
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know. I think you and I are the same about this stuff where like there's definitely better paths forward, but I just dig my heels in and I'm like, you have no idea, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I'm a sadistic motherfucker. And like, it's like, you have no idea. Like I probably shouldn't be saying this in the podcast, but like my mind starts spiraling, bro, quick. Like anytime someone tries to like whatever. And it's like, it just becomes like, I don't know, like running a software company is sometimes boring. Like you give me something like this and it's like, you have no idea how excited this makes me. Like
I want like a fight.
Yeah.
I've been like, it's too friendly over in software land.
Yeah. But anyway, the way that played out, he got this like lawyer, he sent me all these letters, all these threats, like essentially like saying he's gonna sue me for like way more, all this type of stuff. And then what I did was I started playing into his hand and like making him think that he was gonna get something. And then I just like ghosted him and he disappeared. So I think like the way I look at it is like, I know that they're paying most lawyers by the hour. And so I just try to start racking up those hours where they're going to get, and then you have to like wait like 30, 45 days, let them get that first bill and then they'll fuck off. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe don't take advice from me.
This guy's using, because he like basically said who he's using. It's like the Uber of lawyers. It's hilarious. The website's like, do you want to take some of the small claims court? Like we can do it for $199. Like it's just like, just fill out this form and like you'll get it signed by a lawyer. It's like no one's actually involved. So like that's why I'm excited to go to like an actual court and like I will spend whatever it fucking costs. Like
what multiple is the damages that you're like, have you done this yet or no?
We haven't. We started getting some data early on when he first did the demand letter where the lawyers are basically like, so like, yeah, figure out what the damages are. And so, yeah, so we started gathering that data, but we didn't put like numbers behind it, but we know like how much traffic we lost based on what was expected. And, you know, are going to apply like a conversion rate to it. I don't think we can say like, oh, our company would have been worth X today, but I think it's more like, okay, we can pretty reasonably say we lost at least this much revenue as a result of this. And yeah, I can't.
Then he'll have to get a real lawyer and he's gonna fuck off.
Yeah. Well,
if he fucks off, he fucks off, you're going all the way.
Yeah. No, now it's too late. Like the whole thing was if he, like, we're not gonna countersue.
Throw the first punch, but if he
throws the first punch, like
going to the
I'll
end.
put the whole company online.
All right, I fuck with that. All right, sweet. What's this like? These notes you have here,
dude. So, have you ever listened to this podcast, Acquired?
Yes,
it's good, eh?
Yeah, I haven't listened to it for probably 6 months.
Okay, so I just started listening to it. Someone recommended it to me, and I listened to an episode on this company called Renaissance Technologies.
Okay,
insane. First of all,
sick name.
Not a technology company.
Okay,
a hedge fund.
Okay,
real company.
All right, hedge fund still scam.
Yeah, no, but I mean, okay, so. There's a lot of like crazy things about this. I have this little graph here that shows like if you put in $1 into the S&P I believe this graph starts at 1980. It's not labeled at the start. If you put in $1 today, it looks like on the S&P, like you'd have like $20, like you would have 20x or something like that. This graph is kind of shitty. And if you did $1 into the Medallion Fund, which is like their flagship fund of Renaissance, you'd have over $500
with a 40% fee.
Dude, so they charged, their fee changed over the years. They eventually kicked everyone out because their returns were so good.
Like we just want to use our own money.
We just want it to ourselves, kind of. And they were making so much money that it was just growing so much. So they kicked everyone out. But before they did that, they were charging a typical fee is like a 2 and 20, which is like 2% of the assets under management get just like pulled off the top, and then of the success, 20% they take. They were taking 5% management fee and then 44% carry, which is like unheard of, and people were still like happy to invest. They had, I didn't write it down, but many years well above 100% return.
That's crazy.
They average from like the start of the fund to today, they average 66% return per year.
What do they invest in public companies or no?
Yeah. They've never had a down year since starting. In terrible years, like in 2008, they were over 100%. In 2001, they were over 100%. So what they did, the guy that started,
and you can't invest in them anymore.
No.
Okay.
No one can invest. The guy that started it, kind of this genius type guy. He's like a professor at Harvard when he's like 23, in like mathematics, whatever. And then he's also like a thrill seeker. He like went on this insane motorcycle trip in like Colombia and like almost died and like whatever. And then he goes back to Harvard and then spends a few years there and then goes back to Colombia and starts like a flooring company. Comes back to the States, ends up selling the flooring company. He gets like $4 million from that, which at the time is like a lot of money. This is like in the 60s. And he has this idea somehow to create this fund, which is quant trading, which is like popular today, but at the time they were the first. And what that is basically like trading not based on like fundamentals of a company or like anything like that. It's literally just based on these formulas and our models, like a computer telling you to buy something or sell something. So apparently I was then listening to a different podcast with Charlie Munger on it. And he was saying that the early days of Renaissance was just a very simple model where they figured out that if a stock went up, the next day it was more likely to go up than go down. And if a stock went down, the next day it was more likely to go down than go up. So they would simply, if Apple went up today,
right,
tomorrow morning they would buy Apple, and by the end of the day they would sell Apple. And then they would do this at like a massive scale.
It's like letting it ride in roulette.
Yeah, kind of. But except you have the edge in this case because you know that thing. And it's gotten like, they had like, their team was like an insane, insane group of like mathematics, like geniuses. And like, I'm sure they've like figured this out to an insane degree, but it's just like, first of all, it's insane. Like imagine coming up with this thing. Like it's literally a money printer that like they made on a computer, and it doesn't add like any value to the world. It's just like this insane money printer. And they've generated like hundreds of billions. One guy sold his shares. He owned like a quarter of it for like $2 million or something at some point. Like he would have been like laughing.
Wait, with this podcast, was this just like a study or is this guy interviewed?
It was a study of it. It's also insane that like you've never heard of this company, and that he's like, they've outperformed Warren Buffett, and like I guess the guy was just like, very like private and whatever. But yeah, it's just like,
I feel like being private is like as we're sitting on a podcast, quite a feature of life, especially like if you become as rich as you like want, like, do you really want people to know who you are? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I do, but
I think it's all about how you did it. I when I was listening to the Charlie Munger thing, I was like, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, like, because they're like older guys, like people don't really like hate on them. I feel like they're kind of just like the grandfather types, and like that's fine. But like, you know, like a lot of guys in like the finance world, especially like this type of like,
Yeah, you end up getting you go to all these like liberal
you get a bad rap.
You get a bad rap, and then you get like one fucking whatever senator or attorney or like whatever that just like doesn't like what you're doing, and you just get like a target on your back.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
Like, you could be doing what a million other people are doing, but if you have the target on your back, like you're gonna get shot. Like,
yeah,
that's where it's like.
Do you think that do you think me and you both have had tons of people copy our softwares.
Yeah.
Like to a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And I think like for me, I can also live with it a bit more because like there are other softwares before Wizza that like generally did the same thing. We had a different way of going about it and stuff, but like generally they existed versus like yours was actually like the first.
Yeah.
For that. So like, do you think, I mean, I know what I think. Do you think if you weren't as public,
the business would be bigger, or we
would have less?
So, do I think we would have less copycats? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think the business would be as big right now? No. Like, people copy things because it eliminates some of their fear to do anything.
Right.
And so if you're more public with the success or whatever it is, you're essentially limiting the fear more on all these fucking pussies.
Right.
But we get a lot of customers. It's amazing when like customers reach out to me like on my personal accounts and like talk to me, like that informs product. Is there other ways that could happen? Yes. I don't know. Like I do get a lot of personal enjoyment out of quote unquote being the face or something. Like I enjoy it. And so you could also say that like it makes me like keep going. Like if I stop now, like I have to stop in public because I was building in public, or like, and I'm not that much building public. I'm not public about our revenue numbers. Like there's people that are way more.
You were at a point though, right?
And I was never public.
No?
I was only ever public about number of customers very early on, but never public about revenue. But it used to bother me a lot. It bothers me a lot less now. There is like a part of me that like if I'm like driving by myself, I go like, oh, like I created like a little niche in the world. Like that's a cool feeling. And so, but that's also playing to my ego more than anything. Yeah, no, like if I was like silent doing nothing, like, yeah, we'd have less copycats. But I don't think that it's actually like atrophying us that much. Like,
right.
Actually, if it does it properly and we keep executing at the level that we've been executing at, it expands the market.
Yeah.
And like the nice thing is like I wholeheartedly believe like no one will ever be cooler than us. Like, you know, like so many of these people, like I know because I've seen the screenshots of messages of like their like main thesis was like people didn't like the fucking name Foreplay. It's like, yeah, good business plan, you fucking loser. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have no idea. Like, so yeah, no one will ever be cooler. I think there's obviously always that like fear in the back of my head that like as things get bigger, you get more comfortable. And so there's that fear of like, fuck, I don't want to get leapfrogged or something like that because like I have something to lose. They have nothing to lose. So it's like, you know, I remember what that feeling was. And but like, to be fair, like them existing puts that feeling back inside me. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's two
innovation.
sides. Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, you need some level of competition.
Yeah. It's getting crazy though.
Dude.
Like, dude, I get like, we find them after they've already died. Like, it's like, we'll be like, I'll be roaming the forest and be like, wow, there was this copycat that I never even knew about and they've like already died. Like,
they've already shut down.
You know, like, so no, it's cool. No, it's not cool, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to have none. You just always think like,
if you have none, you got a fucking horrible business.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, unless you have such a moat, like,
But if you're doing super well, there's going to be people that are out there
Yeah.
that want to lick. Everyone wants a wet beak in a pond.
Yeah, I mean it's scary. That's like, okay, yeah, could someone like out innovate you at like a certain?
It's entirely possible,
pace.
but I've also there is a part of me too that's like now like I've also just like built a good business. Like, can someone out innovate me? Like, sure, but I still just built a good business, and like they wouldn't have existed without me building a business. Like, I'm competitive enough to be like, I don't want that to happen, but like there's like a part that's just like, yeah, build a good business. Like, of course they're gonna be coming around, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Well, you have like one that's like a crazy copycat, similar to one of ours, where it's like literally like copying UI elements. Which I think is
that one hurts.
Yeah.
But no, we've had a few copy UI elements now. It's just like what's different about us is like we exist in like this really massive market that like has people way bigger than us and way smaller than us, and we're on the small side, and so like. For me to focus on these copycats is like, I'm also a copycat of someone else at Zoom Info or whatever.
Right.
Not that it's like a direct copy, but it like, or we stole UI elements or whatever, but like we're trying to.
Well, no, you actually approached the problem in a completely different way.
Yeah.
It actually isn't a copycat.
It's not a copycat, but I like to look at our competitors as those billion-dollar companies, not as like these like guys like, who built some no code like version. Whatever. Yeah. So I think like when it's easy to get like pissed off about it, but like when it actually comes down to it, it's like, it's not worth any energy, and it's reminding me not to stay down here and to like keep looking up.
Yeah. Give them something else to copy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're watching, give them something, give them a show.
Keep watching.
Sweet. I think that was a good little Potter.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't think I had anything else.
All right.
Funniest moment when you fired someone.
Funniest moment?
Yeah. Was it today? Maybe?
No, it wasn't. Today wasn't funny. Today was annoying, bro.
I feel like it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's scenes after. There's cut scenes. There's like some Family Guy cut scenes after that are funny. I don't think I had like a funny one. I've been surprised about how people take it.
Yeah.
Like take it really well. And like, oh, okay. Like, good thing I
Oh,
fired
that's the
you.
best feeling.
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, you thought the same thing as me? Like,
dude, I've had literally like, I was kind of like sensing that was gonna happen. Like,
yeah, today for me, that was not it. That was not it today.
Yeah, that is the worst moment, whether it's like a breakup or just like any hard conversation where it's like when you're blindsiding someone, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Because you can see it in their face of like shock.
Yeah. It's just like their heads going like left, right, center, like just fucking all over the place.
Yeah. That moment sucks. We had a funny one this year. I just can't remember.
Didn't you have a guy try to break back into your office? Wasn't there a guy trying to like sneak a fob or something?
There was something like that. I can't believe I don't remember what it is.
There was a guy down the street that saw one of your other employees and goes like, let me in. I need to go talk to Steven.
Yes. Who was that again? Yeah. Someone got fired, not by me. And he went outside our office to return his laptop or something. Or the charger. He returned the laptop, but his charger was at home. So he comes back with the charger. He's like, I'm only giving you this back if you like let me up to our other employee. If you let me up, I need to go talk to Steven. And I'm like, and he told me about this after. And the guy was like, dude, I am not letting you up there. Like, dude, if I was in my office and he just came up with the charger, I would be like ready for a fight. Like I'd be like, what does this guy want? Because it's all like said and done. So that one was funny. Oh, and another thing, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but he was getting fired. We knew he was getting fired. And we had like a meeting coming up in 20 minutes. Oh no, sorry. We had a new employee coming in 20 minutes to start. It was at like 8:40. And we're like, oh, 20 minutes should be fine. It's 9 a.m. Our new employee texts us like, hey, I'm downstairs. And we hear screaming in the other office. Like, what the fuck? Like, and he said something about me that was, oh, your so-called CEO. So that was like my nickname.
Dude, you should change your Slack name to so-called CEO Steven.
He's like, your so-called CEO, like whatever. So that was one. And another one that's really funny, which I also probably shouldn't say, but what are the odds he's going to hear this? We hired like a younger kid, and we fired him, and his dad called me to talk about it.
Jeez.
And I was like, yeah. And he was just like, oh, you know, like he's a good kid. Like, I don't know why you did this, whatever. Meanwhile, like the kid was coming in at like 10:30 in the morning when he was supposed to come in at 9, like with like always some new excuse and leaving at 3 and like just like it's like, dude, like if I got fired, my dad would be like, you're an idiot. He wouldn't be like,
yeah, I wouldn't be able to call your boss.
He wouldn't be like, you know what? Give me your boss's number.
Bro, that's the thing though. That's why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good stories. We're going to start a quant trading firm and that's the episode.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.